What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Split Decisions. I'm Patrick,
And I'm Justin.
and today we're here to give you our quick picks, early reads on UFC 305. We're not going to be able to break down Spivak versus Tybura, obviously, because it hasn't happened yet. No recap or anything like that. Just want to quickly run through UFC 305, give us our early reads and our quick picks, and yeah, so what'd you think about that first fight? We got Casey O'Neill and Luana Santos.
Yeah. Really, this fight, I know Pat said it's our quick picks. I've done as much research as I could on this and what I could at this time. Like Pat said, this is early. It's Thursday. Spivak versus Tabor hasn't even happened yet. So kind of just
Your boy
lining this
going,
one up now.
your boy going to the beach, so we got to get something out for y'all this
Yeah,
week.
Pat's gonna be on vacation by the time you guys see this, so it's all good. First fight of the night, like Pat said, Casey O'Neill versus Luana Santos. Casey O'Neill, 9-2, 4-2 in the UFC. She's a pretty well-rounded fighter who can strike and wrestle. Trains at Extreme Couture, so she has great coaches. Her 4 wins are all cans in the UFC. Her 2 losses are credible competition though, but she is on a 2-loss skid coming back from ACL surgery. She's fighting Luana Santos, who's 8-1, 3-0 in the UFC. Tough Brazilian fighter with a background in judo. She has great striking, really good ground game. Her 3 wins in the UFC were by KO, by sub, and by decision. So she can get it done really any way she needs to. This fight, pick-wise, is easy for me. I'm riding with the youth and finishing ability of Luana. Casey's very tough, and she's going to be a good test for her with her experience and skill-wise, but I think Luana's special, and I like her in this matchup. So give me Luana Santos, probably by decision because Casey's tough, but what do you think?
Yeah, give me Luana Santos too. We're gonna be on the same side here. She got good judo throws, good trips. She obviously gonna have better jiu-jitsu in this matchup. I think her last, she's got some momentum on her side.
Yeah.
A 3-fight win streak. And honestly, I'm not really too impressed with O'Neill's last 2. So yeah, give me Luana Santos, and I'll say by decision.
All right, so your next fight, Jack Jenkins versus Herbert Burns.
Man, come on, Jack Jenkins, home crowd advantage. Last loss, respectable loss against Chepe. I mean, he got caught in an armbar or something. Verbal
Chepe had threw him, and whenever he went to brace himself and land,
broke it or something. Yeah. So I mean, he's tough. He's not just gonna quit. I mean, that wasn't too bad of a loss. Right before that, beat Jamal Emmers, which is a very good opponent. And a pretty decent all around fighter as far as Burns goes. He's gonna come out in that first round super explosive.
He's dangerous in the first.
If he don't do nothing in that first though, he gonna get finished. He gonna give up in that second round.
Cardio.
So he's coming off 3 second round finish losses where he just simply dies in the second round, just mentally, physically, and yeah. So this is pretty easy pick. I'm gonna go with Jack Jenkins.
Yeah.
And I say finish in the second round because it's a trend. Last 3 fights now. So
there you go. Yeah, I'm on the same side pretty much. Jack Jenkins is 2-1 in the UFC. That one loss, it was a close fight until Chepe hit him with like a little hip toss, and like I said, when Jack tried to like brace himself, like catch himself, that elbow just popped right out, and it was pretty brutal. But I thought he broke it, but apparently he didn't because he's right back. He's a tough, well-rounded fighter from Australia, so he's about to have the home crowd advantage. Pretty heavy hands, even heavier kicks. This man has leg kick finishes, so he's really throwing power behind that. We haven't seen his ground game yet, other than Chepe holding him against the fence. Herbert Burns on the other side, though, like Pat said, this man is one rounder bust. He's got 5 minutes of cardio, and then after that, the first maybe 15 seconds of the second round, he's going to come out, try something wild, not get it, gasses out, gives up on himself. He is a 2-time BJJ black belt. He does have a decorated history in grappling. He is Gilbert Burns' little brother. His cardio is trash. He was I think he might be his older brother, actually. But yeah, his cardio is trash. He completely gasses in the second round, like Pat said. He's dangerous if he gets your back, or if you try to like go down in his guard. He is dangerous, but other than that, there's not much. So this pick's pretty easy for me too. I think Herbert's trash. I think he is slick with his submissions, but I think Jack will be smart. I think Jenkins is smart enough to not go to the ground with him unless Burns, just somehow gets him in a trip or a leg lock or something. And I think Jack Jenkins wants to bounce back big after his loss. So give me Jack Jenkins. I'm going to say by KO. So the next fight on the card, we got Kenan Song versus Ricky Glenn. Kenan is 21-8, 5-4 in the UFC. He's also a pretty well-rounded fighter. Comes from a grappling background. He's a tough guy with a strong chin, a lot of heart. He's got big thudding power in his hands and his kicks. He did rock Ian Gary with a clean left hook, and then just got finished in that third. He's fought tough competition at 170, losing to people like Ian Gary, Max Griffin, Alex Morono. He's fighting the human punching bag in Ricky Glenn, who is 22-8-2, 4-5-1 in the UFC. He's a freestyle fighter with a base in jiu-jitsu, but has sneaky power in his hands. Since moving to 155, he's 1-2-1. He did take Grant Dawson to a split decision, to a draw. My bad, a draw. But he's on a 2-fight losing streak, losing to Dober and Christos Giagos. But he can finish fights. This fight's a little trickier for me to pick just because, as much as I like to rag on Ricky Glenn, like he can, get a knockout, he can get a sub. But I just think Song is going to be tough enough to outlast whatever Ricky might try to throw at him in the beginning. Ricky gets hit a lot. His fight IQ isn't that great. So I'm going to go with the better striker in this, and I think he possibly finds a KO. So give me Kenan Song by KO, but I could see a decision. What do you think?
Yeah, give me Kenan Song first round KO. Puts better combos together. He hits hard, like you said. Solid left hook that dropped Mr. Ian Gary. And Glenn's coming off 2 second round KO losses by what? A left hook. Yeah. Both by left hooks. So I think that's going to be the same left hook that puts Mr. Glenn out. So, yeah, give me Kenan Song. And I'm going to match you. I'm going to say by KO. Next fight, we got the debut Stuart Nicola. Is that Nikolai or Nicole? Nicole. Stuart Nicole versus Jesus Aguilar. My pick's going to be Aguilar, just off rip. He has UFC experience. He has power in his hands. Scrappy Mexican chin. Never been KO'd, which he's only lost 2 times in MMA, but never been KO'd, only by sub. One was by Tatsuro Taira. Very respectable loss to have. 3 fights in the UFC. He just came off a scrappy split decision win over Matheus Mendonça, which was a decent scrap, and I'd say is a decent fighter. Nicole, super fast starter, and definitely a finisher, but against regional guys with little experience. Will have the home crowd advantage, so I would say tread lightly as far as betting wise, but I do like Jesus Aguilar in this fight, and I'll take him to win a decision. What do you think?
Yeah, when I was looking into this fight, breaking down the little regional scene fights and all that, Stewart is very well rounded. He's got 4 KOs, 3 subs, and a decision win. He's the number 1 ranked flyweight out of Australia. So they're saying this is our best 125 prospect. Let's see what he can do, type of thing. He is going to have the home field advantage. He is a pressure heavy fighter with that wrestling base, so he'll just constantly be in your face, try to push you up against the fence, clinch, work to try to get you down, type of thing. He's very relentless. He's busy when he gets top position on the ground too, constantly working on the ground, looking for ground and pound, looking for subs. It's hard to judge his skill level just because we've only seen him against regional fighters, but he does seem pretty solid. Like Pat said, Jesus Aguilar, real tough Mexican fighter, 2-1 in the UFC. He's got a tough pressure style too. 6 submission wins out of his 10 wins, so he's very slick with the subs. Has some sneaky power in his hands. He got that fast 17-second KO with that big overhand a couple fights ago. What I don't like about him is he's okay with accepting bottom position if he gets taken down because he's looking for those subs. And I feel like in this fight that might be tricky because Nicole has such good top pressure and such good wrestling and ground game. So I'm also gonna go with the underdog in Jesus here. Like Pat, I'm looking up the odds real quick because I don't think he's a plus 172 underdog in this. So I feel like he's you're going to get some good value on this. He's got the UFC experience. Stewart does have KOs, but they're ground and pound KOs. So he can finish a fight, like I said, if he gets that top position, and Jesus is okay with going to his back, which kind of worries me in this matchup. But I am going to take Jesus Aguilar, probably by decision, like Pat said, but I could see a sneaky sub in there if Stewart gets a little reckless in that second or third round. So next fight, we got Josh Culibao versus Ricardo Ramos. Josh Culibao, 11-3-1, 3-3 in the UFC. Came into the UFC with a BJJ background, but has a really smooth and clean boxing game now too. He has pretty solid cardio. He's fought really tough competition since day one, making his debut up a weight class against Jalen Turner, who's a massive lightweight. All 3 wins are coming against pretty well-rounded opponents. Kind of starts slow, almost seeming overwhelmed if his opponents start out fast, but once he gets used to the fight speed, he really opens up with his combinations. Ricardo is 16-6, 7-5 in the UFC. He is a grappling specialist who has a BJJ black belt and trains at Team Alpha Male, which is really a wrestling-heavy gym. He's got big explosive power, big fast bursts early in the first round. Tends to shell up and cover up, though, when he gets hurt. He likes to throw big looping power shots that transition into a takedown just for him to close that range, pretty much close that gap. This fight's going to be a scrap for as long as it lasts. I think Ricardo is going to come out hot. He's going to try to take Josh's head off early. He does have the ability to finish a fight quick, either with a big punch or a quick sub. But I'm going to lean with the more well-rounded Josh. His ability to fight smart with good cardio too. I think he's a more reasonable pick. But Josh does get touched in every single fight in that first round. So tread lightly with this. I'm probably not going to bet just because it is a dangerous fight. But my pick, give me Josh Culibao, more than likely by a finish, sub or TKO. What do you think?
Yeah, give me Culibao as well. I just feel like he's gonna be the better all-around fighter. I feel like he's more durable than Ricardo Ramos. He's gonna have the home crowd advantage on his side, and I feel like Ramos, yeah, he's dangerous early. He's supposed to be this dangerous jiu-jitsu guy, but coming off 2 guillotine losses, 2 straight guillotine losses, you're supposed to be this high-level jiu-jitsu guy. Yeah, I think his hands are all right, but if you're not succeeding where you're supposed to be succeeding at, then, what's that say about your all-around game? So, yeah, give me Culibao, and I want to say by finish, maybe a late finish, second round, third round finish. But, yeah, next fight we got Junior Tafa against Walter Walker. 2 heavyweights. Probably going to be, it might be a scrap. It might be a slugfest. They're not the highest level, so you really never know what you're going to get. Tafa, solid kickboxing, hard hitter, has the home crowd behind him. So hometown boy against Walter Walker, who's coming off a KO loss against Lucas Bresky. Come on, man. That's all I need to know in this fight. Tafa can be taken down, so I'd say tread lightly. I'm not super confident in Tafa, but off first glance and first read, early read, I'm gonna say Tafa wins this fight. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty much right there with you. I thought that Walter Walker was that a knockout or was that a decision?
I thought he got KO finished in that fight. You can
check. I was trying to, my stuff won't load. I thought that was a decision where Lucas Dresky couldn't get him out of there, and it was just a sloppy 3-round fight. But I could be wrong.
Check it. I thought he got finished.
Junior Tafa is a big power puncher with a great chin. Very underrated boxing.
Yeah, he did lose a decision.
It was a decision. Yeah. Lost to Mo Usman in his debut because his takedown defense is trash. Mo laid on him pretty much that whole fight. He won his second fight where he actually had a training camp, looked good, got a KO. He lost his last fight because he took that fight on 20 hours notice to fill in for his brother who had to pull out of the fight. Junior stepped up, said, I got this, and then lost. He has knockouts, though, in all 5 of his wins. Most of them are in the first round. On the other side, like Pat said, Walter Walker, honestly just a bum. He's Johnny Walker's little brother, came into the UFC with a little bit of hype because he is a big power puncher, has big, heavy leg kicks. His cardio is suspect as fuck. He looked terrible in his debut against Lucas Dresky, who we just saw get knocked out his last time out. So he got exposed for being a first-rounder bust fighter, in my opinion, in that fight. So I'm not wasting much time breaking this down. I think Junior is going to be the one, just piece him up and get a KO, more than likely in the first round. But if not first, I could see maybe second. So Junior Taffa by KO. Maybe a random shocker decision because Walker just has a chin that, a tough chin. But next fight, we got Tom Nolan and Alex Reyes. So this is another brother in the UFC. Tom is 7-1, 1-1 in the UFC. He's a massive guy for lightweight, standing at 6'3" with a 73-inch reach. Southpaw striker with a good mix of kicks, knees, and punches. He likes to work the body a lot with those teep kicks, front kicks, and knees to the liver. His chin is suspect, though, being dropped in both his UFC fights so far. He's fighting Alex Reyes, who is 13-4, 0-2 in the UFC. Mainly a striker with a little bit of wrestling in his game. Has big power early with heavy kicks. He does have 11 first-round finishes, so he is dangerous in that first round. His boxing is decent. He's only fought 2 times in the last 7 years, though. He lost both those fights. So this is the second fight at lightweight. Most of them are at 170, but he's still going to be the smaller guy by 4 inches. So this fight's easy for me to pick, too. I think it's a showcase for Tom because he is the Australian. He is the home team guy. Reyes is dangerous. But with that size and reach Tom has, I see him finding Reyes' chin and getting him out of there early. So give me Tom Nolan, probably by knockout. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm going to be quick here. I got Nolan too. Like you said, home crowd advantage, good strikes, good knees in the clinch. Got the same exact thing written here. He's being set up for a win. I feel like just Reyes super inactive before being KO'd by Charlie Campbell in his return. I would say tread lightly, though, on Nolan, as he was KO'd and as a big favorite in his UFC debut. So had a lot of hype around him coming in, got knocked out by Nicholas Moda. So if there's a huge line on him, I'm not even really sure the odds. Negative 1,400 favorite for Tom Nolan. That is insane to me.
If you put a minus 1,400 in your parlay, you deserve to lose. I'm sorry.
Come on. He was knocked out as a minus 350 favorite, just to let y'all know. So Vegas was valuing him around 80% to win that fight, and he came and got knocked out by a guy who's really not even a knockout artist or anything. So I would definitely tread lightly. But this next fight,
main card. Hey, make sure you guys, if you haven't already, like this video for us. Comment to help the algorithm a little bit. Try to share the video if you can.
Yeah, man. And subscribe to the channel as well.
First fight on the main card.
We got it's Jing Liang, huh?
Huh?
Is it Jing Liang or Matus?
No, it's Matus Gamrot, Dan Hooker.
Damn, I got it. I got my notes all wrong. We got Matus Gamrot. He's going to be my pick. I just feel like the relentless takedown and pressure approach is going to be hard to beat for anybody. Hooker does have some home advantage in this fight and, 80% takedown defense in the UFC. So not super easy to get taken down. And he will be the better striker on the feet. So I would tread lightly as far as a Matus bet because I do see a route for Hooker in this fight. But I am going to pick Matus just to have some success, maybe get some top control because it's super hard to deal with. He's got that Marab, type of style where he's just going to continually just shoot takedowns, go for a body lock. He just wants to get his grappling going and be the best in that department. So I do see him implementing his game plan and getting it done, but I would tread lightly. What you think?
Yeah, pretty much agree with what Pat said. Gamrot, he's 7-2 in the UFC. He does have that relentless pressure wrestling. He has improved his hands, but that's not saying they're good. They're better than they're getting progressively better each fight. He's got great cardio. He does have finishing ability, but he's been to a lot of decisions lately. He's fought and beat some dogs in this division in RDA, Jalen Turner, people like Jeremy Stevens. He had that controversial fight over Arman where I personally thought he lost that fight. But the fact that it was so close shows you, Gamrot's up there too, because Arman's about to be fighting for the title. Like Pat said, though, Dan Hooker is tough as hell at 155. 13-8 in the UFC. He's got good long strikes, good combinations, good kicks, good pace, good cardio. I say tough at 155 because he ate that head kick from Jalen Turner and didn't fall. Ended up coming back and beating Jalen in that fight. He's had wars with Dustin Poirier, Jalen Turner. He even beat Gilbert Burns back in the day. He did get knocked out by Arnold Allen at 145, but since then he's on a 2-fight winning streak. So as far as picking this one goes, I feel like it's a good fight to compare this to is the Gamrot and Jalen Turner fight, because Jalen Turner and Dan Hooker are both kind of similar, both tall guys for the division, tall, long reach, both strikers. And we saw what Gamrot did in that fight. He went out there. He stayed safe in the beginning where Jalen was, the most dangerous. Ended up having that relentless pressure, just taking him down, doing what he needed to win. So that's who I'm going with. Give me Gamrot by decision. But Dan is tough. So next fight, we got Li Liang versus Carlos Prates. The Leech Lee is 19-8, 11-6 in the UFC. Tough boxer with good leg kicks. He's got really fast hands and thudding power. He should be on a 2-fight win streak after getting choked out by Hamzat, but the judges robbed him against D-Rod. Completely robbed him. If you take away the robbery, his only 2 losses in the last 5 years were to Hamzat and a close back and forth between Neil Magny back in 2020. He's fighting, though, a dangerous Carlos Prates, who is 19-6, 2-0 in the UFC. Long southpaw counter striker with sneaky power, good hard calf kicks and body kicks. He seems to have really good takedown defense, too. Had an impressive walk-off body shot KO against a tough opponent his last time out, and then called his shot saying he wanted to fight on this card because he wanted to see his daughter, who lives in Australia. So he got what he wanted. He's on this card. He's on a 9-fight win streak, too. But this fight, tough for me to pick just because I like both guys. Lee's super tough, super experienced, and has never been knocked out. He's only been subbed twice. Carlos is very dangerous with his strikes, and he has 3 sub wins, too. I don't want to pick it, but I have to. So because of that, give me Carlos, but I'm not feeling the most confident in it. Lee's very tough, and he's super well-rounded. But give me Carlos by decision, but I could see a sneaky sub. What do you think?
Yeah, my pick is Prates as well. Dangerous, super dangerous striker. Crazy knees, good elbows. He's going to hold a 6-inch reach advantage. So going to be the longer guy. And his camp is on a roll. It's hard to count out them fighting nerds right now. Liang is not an easy route for anybody. And probably will throw more volume in this fight. But I feel like I think he needs to grapple in this fight to have a chance here. And I just don't know if I could trust him doing that. So give me Carlos Prates. And Liang is tough, so I can see a decision, but I think Prates gets him out of there with something.
So your next fight, you got Bam Bam Tuivasa, Gardenia Rosen Street.
Hey, high-level heavyweight fight here. This ain't 2 bums.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's going to be a fun one to watch.
It's going to be a fun one for sure. Tuivasa is coming off 4-fight losing streak, so I feel like he's hungry for a win here. He hits super hard. Obviously, all heavyweights hit hard, but Ty got some real power.
Ty's like Derek Lewis and Francis.
And he's tight and he's compact, with it. So we'll have the home crowd on the side in this fight. So, and the Australia crowd loves Bam Bam.
I'm looking forward to his walkout because he always comes out with those like fun ass songs. Everybody gets everybody hype and ready.
And you want him to win because you want to see that shoey.
Yeah.
So like I said, has to be motivated for a win here. Coming off 4-fight losing streak. So I'm gonna pick Tuivasa. I am a fan of Tuivasa, so this is a little bit biased. But Rosenstruck is gonna be the longer fighter. The bigger guy, the 2, can use his jab well and stay at range, does hit hard as well, and probably has more cardio. I feel like Ty slows down a little bit. But yeah, my pick's going to be Tai Tuivasa, but I would tread lightly as far as a pick. Either guy could get finished in this fight, but I do like Bam Bam in this matchup. What you think?
Yeah, like Pat said, man, Bam Bam's 8-7 in the UFC, 13 knockouts, right? This man is a finisher, big power in his hands, but our boy is on a 4-fight losing skid. They're very tough losses to watch, but they're all very credible losses. Like, he's not losing to bums or anything. Really, the closest thing to a bum he lost to was Todd Bora, and that's not even really, like, he's a tough fighter. But y'all know about him, so I don't really have to say shit. Big power in his hands. He's got big, powerful leg kicks, honestly. He's got good footwork and decent cardio for a big boy, but his takedown defense is terrible. And if this man gets taken down, he's got a very hard time getting up. His hands aren't very fast, but he don't even have to fully connect. He can just barely punch you with like the knuckle and his pinky and knock you out. But he does get touched by fast straight punches. Volkov was really piecing him up with that jab and those long strikes. Rosenstruck, 8-5 in the UFC, also a big, powerful striker. Also has 13 knockouts exactly. So these guys are matching each other, knockout finish wise. Rosenstruck, on the other hand, does have really fast hands. He's really good at kickboxing. He comes from that kickboxing background, so he has those hard leg kicks and clean combos. He doesn't throw big looping shots. All of his are like crisp, down the center, no fat on him. He's a very patient counter striker, which sometimes turns into a boring fight, but it's not that often. He also has bad takedown defense, but they're not going to need this here. Neither of these guys are going to be shooting takedowns. I feel like this is going to be a scrap. And I hate picking this, just like I hated picking the Tony fight, just because I really love Bam Bam. I do not want to see him win or lose 5 in a row. I want to see him break this skid, right, and turn it around, start getting back to working his way to that top 10, top 5. He's a fun guy to root for and be a fan of, but MMA is brutal. So with that being said, give me our first split decision on this card. I'm going to take Jardinia Rosenstruck just because I really do feel like how fast his hands are, how straight his punches are, and how he mixes up his shots. Unfortunately, I see him touching Tai, and I see him really, I don't think he'll knock Tai out because Tai is tough. He's got a chin, but I could see him just keeping range, not getting touched, and winning a decision. But he could, catch Tai in the third or something when Tai's like 0 cardio left and get him out of there. But give me Jardinia Rosenstruck, and I'm going to take him by decision. So the next fight, we got Kai Kara France and Steve Erceg. Another banger, back-to-back bangers here. Kai is 24-11, 7-4 in the UFC. Tough little striker with big power. Even though he's only 5'4", he has a 69-inch reach, so he's got them long-ass arms randomly. He's got pretty much rocks for fist. He's really fast hands with explosive burst, good hard leg kicks, somewhat of a good chin, but it has been cracked. He has been dropped before. He got robbed in his last fight against Albazi. And the fight before that was that close fight with Moreno where it was kind of back and forth until he got that liver kick in the third that put him down. Has really impressive wins over Garbrandt, Askarov, and like Tyson Nam. He's fighting a dog, though, in Steve Erceg, who's 12-2, 3-1 in the UFC. Steve is a phenomenal boxer with big power. He's got very clean, precise combinations with solid defense. Really good cardio. Proved that in his 5-round war with Pantoja. I personally thought he could have won that fight based off damage and the damage that he did to Pantoja, but that wrestling control kind of got him at the end. Has really impressive chin, too. He ate some shots and kept coming forward. So this fight, I feel like it's going to be a certified classic. It could be fight of the night where we see an insane amount of punches thrown. Steve is going to be the way bigger guy at 5'8", but Kai's going to have a random half-inch reach advantage on him. I think we're going to see a striking masterclass, and I think that Steve is going to be in control of this fight. I really think that he showed against Pantoja, he's best of the best. He's right up there at the top. So give me Steve Erceg, the hometown boy. I'm going to say by decision because Kai is tough. What do you think?
Facts. I'm on the same side. They're both hometown boys, though. Yeah, they both got the hometown advantage.
Kai's been training out of New Zealand.
Definitely going to be a good fight on the feet. Kai Kara France, you can't count him out on the feet. I do think Erceg's just a better all-around fighter. When he needs to get that grappling going, he can get it going. Kai Kara France can get his back taken and get grappled. He's not easy to hold down, though.
No,
he will work his way back up. But yeah. I could see just some cage control, maybe. Just Steve Erceg even having trouble, maybe keeping him down or holding him down, but just implementing like more control along the cage, and even getting a better in the striking exchanges because he does have that long, lengthy frame. But like I said, you can't count Kai Kara-France out. But
you think Steve is going to try to shoot on Kai?
He could. Yeah. I think I'm not saying necessarily he has to.
Yeah.
But I think he's good at mixing it up when he feels
keeping
like
you on your toes.
Exactly. Just show him something else. Get him worrying about the hand. Just make it a little bit easier to strike because Kai Kara is willing to exchange in there and get get dirty with him. So, but we on to the main event, man.
Like the video if you haven't already.
Facts.
Leave us a comment. Let us know who you like in this main event.
Yeah, all that, man. That helps a lot, and we genuinely appreciate the support. But in the main event, we got a championship match, middleweight championship. Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya.
Banger. Man,
I like this fight.
Yeah.
I would have liked it more last year, a little bit earlier before Izzy lost to Strickland.
Right.
But I'm still not counting Izzy out in this fight. Might be a biased pick, but I am gonna pick Adesanya in this fight. I feel like he's motivated to get this win against du Plessis. All the shit talking, all the beef between them. It's not going to be easy for him because du Plessis probably just going to march forward, use that physical. He's definitely going to be more physical than Adesanya. Can probably get some grappling going if he can, get inside and touch Adesanya because he is very good at using, his range and that kickboxing very well. Uses them angles. I feel like when this fight is on the feet, Adesanya will be having his way. I feel like he's super motivated to come back and get this belt for the third time now. Right. He wants that belt back. I do feel like he wants that belt back. I see a lot of people saying he's not really motivated anymore. But come on, man. We know Adesanya a competitor, and he's not coming to lose to this fake African. He wants to show he's the real African. So
that shit's so corny.
So give me Israel Adesanya, and I'm gonna say by decision, but man, don't put it past him to find a bonk in this fight. But Dricus du Plessis gonna be a hard fight for him. But my pick's gonna be Adesanya.
Before I even break it down, that whole "you're not a real African, I'm the real African," that shit is so corny. Because how are you gonna say somebody is not a real, like, wherever nationality they're from, just because their skin color, just because you're not whatever. I'm not even gonna get political. Like Pat said, this fight should be a banger. Dricus 21-2, 7-0 in the UFC. Was the champion kickboxer at K1, which is pretty much right there with Glory as far as like status wise. Big power, good wrestling too, good cardio. Even though he always seems gassed, you always think here it is, he's gassed, and then this man just fucking finds another gear, keeps it pushing. So
you're going the other way.
He has good cardio, with finishes ranging in the first to third, KO, subs, decisions. His last fight was a war with Sean Strickland. Some people think he lost. I personally thought watching it that Sean did enough to win that fight, but I could see why the judges lean the other way. He did prove that he can go all 25 though and lay it all out there to win a fight if he needs to. Izzy 24-3, 13-3 in the UFC. He said after that Strickland loss that he was taking time off until 2027 before he came back. Cap, because you're right here, bud. Got rocked by Strickland in that first, and I really think it just fucked his confidence for that whole fight. Because after that, he was worried, like, damn, this dude really does have some power. I don't want to get touched. Was on his bike a lot in that fight.
Something was off with Izzy in that fight, man.
I just think he didn't take Sean that serious at all. He's a counter-striking sniper, which sometimes leads to low output and a lot of feints while he's waiting for that counter shot. Last time he suffered a loss, he bounced back with a huge KO against his number one rival, against his number one boogeyman. So it's not like Izzy is coming into this with some dreaded mindset of like, oh no, I lost last time. Am I done? Like, Izzy knows how to put that shit to the side.
I was about to say, if anything, that's going to motivate him
and do what
more.
He needs to do. If you look at his IG, this man is massive. Like, he's really big right now. Dan Hooker said in an interview that Izzy's walking around 225 to 230 while he's training for this fight. So that weight cut's probably going to be brutal on him, but this man is going to be massive when he goes in there against Dricus.
Rumors have it Izzy wins this fight, gets this belt back, moves up and rematches Alex Pereira again at light heavyweight.
Dana's definitely going to try to push that, but he don't want Alex at light heavyweight.
I would love to see that.
So this fight is tough for me to pick because I can see both sides. I can see a motivated Izzy who's fucking massive, coming in, long striking, keeping Dricus at range, having that good takedown defense, moving well, just piecing him up. Maybe even catch Dricus as he's blitzing in. One of those wild blitzes that Dricus loves to do, catch him on the chin. We've seen him knock out Robert Whittaker. We've seen him knock out Paulo Costa the same ways. Then blitzing in, Izzy steps back, counter left hook. But you know the name of the show, right? We only have one split decision before this fight. Put 2 on the board. I'm going the other way. Give me Dricus du Plessis. Even as an underdog, which is wild to me that Izzy's still the favorite in this.
Facts.
After all this time away, after how good Dricus has looked, Izzy is a what?
Like minus 140, minus 150?
Yeah, he's a minus 146 to Dricus' plus 114. I just think Dricus, knowing how big this spot is, knowing that pretty much his whole little UFC legacy rides on this fight, because all this shit talking, people are going to say he wasn't a real champ if he loses this fight. So I feel like with that being said, he's going to take this super serious, be on his P's and Q's. Yeah, Izzy's 3 inches taller with a 4-inch reach advantage, but I feel like Dricus can honestly implement that wrestling, that grappling, even with Izzy having a good takedown defense and whatever, Dricus can still get there. I feel like he's really just, it's his time right now for the middleweight division. So to end the card, give me a split decision with Pat here. Give me Dricus du Plessis and Still, and win the card like that. So quick little recap video here. Like Pat said, it's pretty much just a quick reads on these fights super early.
Happy to get a damn pay-per-view, and because all these fight nights, I mean, Abu Dhabi was cool, but I don't know, it wasn't too exciting to me. And then obviously we haven't seen what this next fight night's about to be like yet, but it doesn't.
I thought Abu Dhabi was all right.
Not too intriguing of a card.
Fighting pick-wise, but this Sergey Spivak and Tybor card we don't know how that went yet, but that's not something that we're really super hyped about.
But yeah, this has been just a little quick read, early reads, quick breakdowns. Try to make it as quick as we could. But yeah, this is going to be the official 11th episode of the podcast. So we're trying to stay consistent and steady for the people.
Make sure you guys please like the video for us. Comment to help the algorithm. Let us know who you like. Who are you going with in the main event? You going to go with Izzy? And I know Ryan, my cousin, I know he's going with Izzy. He's a big Izzy fan. So let us know in the comments below who you're going to go with, who you like. Let's get a little debate going. Tell us why you like him.
Facts. So we appreciate y'all watching, man. Appreciate y'all stepping in. Hope y'all enjoy the fights. And please, like he said, go like, subscribe, and comment on the video because it helps us more than y'all know. This has been the 11th episode of Split Decisions. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Justin.
And yeah, enjoy the fights.